welcome. My name is Chris Shelton, coming to you from a beautiful day in Los Angeles, California, the heart of Hollywood. Coming to you with your DIY Home Remedies Guide to Health, Happiness, and Healing Transformations. Today what I thought I'd talk about is systemic acne, and what are the root causes of systemic acne, and what can we do in order to reverse it. There's all types of chemicals and drugs that they try to use to reverse the process of systemic acne, but really when it breaks it down, poor diet, yes, is a contributing factor, but it really comes back down to those emotions again. Now, the reason why we have these different symptoms is because when these organs get out of balance, then it shows up, and depending what other organs are out of balance too, shows up as different symptoms and signs. So whether it's lupus, systemic acne, last week we talked about gout, you know, it just depends on what else is going on inside the body at the same time that helps to create the manifestation of specific diseases. So when we look at systemic acne, there's three main organs that we're going to look at. One is your liver, again, because stress is the root cause of systemic acne. Also your lungs play a role in this as well too, because your lungs control your skin and the opening and closing of the pores. And then also your stomach, spleen, and your pancreas, because digestion is essential for making sure that we have the healthy blood and fluids that move around the body in order to sustain our life. So starting off with that liver, again, the liver is affected by anger, frustration, rage, and resentment. And when that resentment is held on to for a long period of time and suppressed. More importantly, when it's suppressed and not discussed or not released, it'll show up on the skin as systemic acne, but also skin rashes too. Red rashes are also a manifestation of the liver being out of balance, and it's also too not expressing anger properly, and more than likely the person is suppressing it. So the nervous system and the body says, okay, guess what, we can't handle this, we're going to show up as systemic acne or a rash throughout the body. In fact, shingles, we'll do a video on shingles. Shingles is also an extension of the liver dysfunction as well. So, but also those lungs. So what is going on with the lungs? Well, if we repress the grief, we repress the sadness, if we have shame or we have guilt in our life, then guess what? That also obstructs the functions of the lungs in order to be able to make blood and move fluids between the skin and the muscles and regulate the body temperature and the opening and the closing of the pores. Right? So sadness, grief, sorrow, disappointment, shame, guilt, those types of things will weaken the qi and not allow for the lungs to do one of its main functions, like I said, of helping to regulate the opening and closing of the pores and the regulation of the fluids between the skin and the muscles. The third thing is diet. So eating too much greasy, fatty, fried food, sugary food, cold and raw food for some people will actually disrupt the stomach, spleen, and the pancreas and also show up as disease. The greasy food will affect the gallbladder, which then also will affect our digestion and affect the spleen's function of being able to transform and transport the essence up to the chest to be made into blood. Now, my wife Parisa, actually, when her and I first got together, she has systemic acne, and her family could afford the top doctors as well as the top medical treatments in order to fix the systemic acne. So I thought I'd bring her in to talk about how we help to cure her systemic acne. And so, come on in, Pete. When we first got together, you had really bad systemic acne. They would actually show up more so during stressful times, but how long were you battling with the systemic acne for?
Let's see, I started getting acne when I was 16, like puberty time, late teenagers. And then I went on a very strong medication called Accutane when I was a teenager, about 17 or 18, I'd say. And then what happened is it worked. The Accutane worked. It cleared up my skin. But the problem with it was that the side effects was really strong. It would dry out my skin. My lips would get super cracked. On the pill box itself, there's a picture of a pregnant lady with a circle and an X through it, meaning like if you get pregnant while you're on that medication, your baby is guaranteed to have birth defects. So it's very, very strong medication, but it did work to clear up my skin at the time, maybe a little bit more than 2 years later. And guess what? My acne came back. This time it came back with a vengeance. Like, it was like right here around my jawline would just be like big and swollen, tender to the touch, pussy, and just really kind of, I tried to do the Accutane again at that point. This was obviously before I met Chris. and I went on it, and the side effects were even stronger the second time. Like, I was also very emotional. I think it probably works with the liver and the stomach. I was a mess. Went off of that, and then maybe about a year later, I met Chris. He still liked me even though I had acne, which was nice. And he showed me a few things, and now look at my skin. It's, you know, sometimes around that time of the month, I'll get a pimple or two, but nothing like it was before.
Yeah, and I think the fascinating thing is when I tell people the story that when we got together that he has systemic acne, people say, Parisa, look at her skin. Her skin is so beautiful. You can't even tell that she has systemic acne. Because also when Parisa and I first got together too, she didn't really have a voice, meaning she didn't really speak up. Family members would kind of squash that voice. She had actually a friend, a good friend, who was what I call a secret bully, meaning the person that is kind to her when they're behind closed doors, but out in public would make fun of her, put her down in front of friends and such. And so she didn't really have a voice. And so my big thing with Parisa was develop your voice, stand up, speak up. And by doing that, and also with the treatments that we did at the Home Remedies in our center, as well as in these Qigong practices, then you help to change the process of the dysfunction of the disease itself.
And now he can't get me to stop talking.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for.
Right. So what did we do in order to help my skin clear up? What was the treatment strategy? So
the treatment strategy, once again, is going after that liver. The liver has over 800 functions inside the body. And when the liver is not functioning right, it doesn't aid in digestion, which then affects your lungs' ability to produce the blood and qi for the body. So then the pores get plugged. Like I was saying at the very beginning of this video, then one of the regulations of the lungs of opening and closing pores has a deficiency, and then as a result of that, the systemic acne shows up. So what we did was that we cleared the liver, most importantly. Your diet was already pretty good, so we didn't really have to change the diet. So in Parisa's case, diet wasn't really an issue. But for some people, systemic acne, yes, if you're drinking too much wine, too much port, again, too much McDonald's, hopefully you're not eating McDonald's, but if you are, please stop. Greasy, fatty, fried food, excessive amounts of cheese, dairy, those types of things will create dampness inside the body, which that's why the pus shows up also too. Is that pus or that yeast inside the body is actually as a result of spleen and stomach being out of balance. So yeah, so 3 main organs: liver, lungs, and the spleen are the main ones responsible for systemic acne. Clean up your diet, keep the diet very simple. So click on the link below and check out one of our congee recipes that we recommend to clients. And also these congee recipes are really good because it doesn't take a lot of work for the stomach to assimilate the food. And it's really good for the system and being able to help to restore harmony and balance. Again, your green leafy vegetables, those are really good. Seaweeds in small amounts, those little packages of seaweed are really good. You know what else is really good too is cooking with kelp granules. And so you go on Amazon and actually order kelp granules, at least in Whole Foods or Sprouts. I've never seen them. But what's interesting about the kelp granules too is that you open it up, it kind of smells fishy at first, but when you cook with it, it doesn't taste fishy.
That's true.
So washed pears, sweet potatoes, those types of things are really good. Avoiding the cold and raw, avoiding ice cream and dairy are the big thing. And really monitoring that stress.
So tell us, what Qigong movements can we do to improve our lungs, liver, and spleen? So
I would start off first with the lung move, and so we're going to inhale, open up the chest, and exhale, and allow for that chest to close or the arms to come back in. Inhaling, imagine a white or silver cloud filling up into the lungs. Exhaling, allow for that grief, that shame, that sorrow, and that guilt to leave like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body, deep into the ground. Now, I think also when we first got together, you were still processing some of that as well too, like some shame or some sorrow going on in your life, right?
Yeah, for sure. My teenage years and early 20s was an arduous time in terms of self-discovery and really trying to get in touch with how I feel. My personality, I'm a pleaser. I want to make sure that everyone's happy, and so for a long time I would put others' happiness before my own and repress how I was feeling, and guess what? It showed up as painful pimples.
So yeah, so we're going to let go of that shame. Focus on situations in your life you created shame or guilt for you, or sorrow. And then as you inhale, just imagine a white cloud filling into the lungs. As you exhale, imagine that shame, that guilt, leaving like a dark cloud, going several feet away from the body and down deep into the ground. Okay, so we're going to do just 2 more. Inhale and exhale. In, and then pull that white light in, pressing down, pulling down the heavens 1 time, inhaling, and exhale. The second movement that we do obviously will be the liver move. So we're going to press and squeeze. Going to inhale through the center, exhale as I elongate and pull back to the lateral side of the rib cage, squeezing through the midsection and pressing. Allow for any anger, frustration, rage, or resentment. So if you're somebody that doesn't show the anger or doesn't feel anger, then what I want you to do is I want you to really make an effort to find that voice and speak your truth, stand in your truth. Not everybody's going to like it, but you know, it's really about you letting go. And for myself, I ask myself the question, you know, do I want to hold on to this if something's bothering me? Or do I want to let it go? My answer is I want to let it go. So journaling, making sure to speak your truth. If you have to say something, you know, and one of the things I recommend too is that if the situation comes up, ask yourself the question, if I don't say anything, can I still let it go mentally? Can I let it go? Or if I do say something, say it, but then also make sure to let it go. So not repressing the anger, allowing for that resentment to leave like a dark cloud, allowing for the positive virtue of kindness to come in. And creativity, so being creative, artistic expression of any type is a byproduct of the liver being in balance. Actually helps the liver to clear as well too. Right, I'm going to do 1 more press. I'm going to pull in, press down, pulling down the heavens 1 time, inhale. Alright, so now the spleen move, I'm going to go ahead and shift over to the left, focusing on a yellow or orange cloud filling up into the left side of the body. And then as I exhale, I'm going to allow for worry to leave or anxiety to leave out through the bottom of the feet and down deep into the ground. So again, our digestion plays a big role in systemic acne as well too. So making sure our spleen and pancreas and our stomach are nurtured and taken care of also is a fundamental component to allowing our skin to be soft, supple, and clear. Okay, so as we let go of the worry and the anxiety and positive virtue, the peace of mind comes into play. So once again, if you suffer from systemic acne, or you know somebody that does, please have them check out this video and have them really look at how are they dealing with the emotions of guilt and shame and sorrow, as well as resentment and anger, not stepping up and holding on to past angers, past hurts, those kind of things. So have them really look at that. So the positive virtue here is peace of mind or centeredness. The Tao Wellness Center also has a skin foaming as well too. And did you know that when you have red raised bumps on the skin like pimples like that, then that means there's too much heat inside the body. So the greasy, fatty, fried food and sugar, alcohol creates more heat. So we want to do things that don't create more heat inside the body.
Well, I'm being 100% honest, probably at that time my diet wasn't that great.
Yeah, so it does play a role definitely. So the combination, proper sleep, proper hydration, eating the right foods, and really dealing with our mental, emotional state. So I can do 1 more here. And I'm going to come back to the middle, pulling down the heavens 1 time, inhale. And exhale. So Parisa, can you tell us what else you do in order to help keep your skin supple and soft and looking so pretty?
Oh, thank you so much. Well, after you're able to work with the inside. I think that the gut health is majorly important when we're talking about acne. So once you're able to get past the regular pimple zone, so to speak, and the skin is clear, we highly recommend one of these Clear Sonics. You can get it on Amazon, and every 3 months you change the brush, but I don't know if you can see, it does little light vibration. And in the shower each morning, you circular movement, and it feels really good, and it gets that top layer of skin off to help your skin really shine. That's one thing you can do. The next thing you can do is Gua Sha, believe it or not. So where can you get this Gua Sha tool? On Amazon?
You get it on Amazon or massage, go to massagewarehouse.com, or we actually also beauty stores will actually have these as well too. So Gua Sha is an ancient technique from China, and actually a lot of countries practice Gua Sha. They may have different names for it, but Gua Sha is where we take oil or...
I take some nice face cream. This is from doTERRA, but you can use any cream you like.
And then you apply the lotion to your, in this case here, to your face, and then you take the Gua Sha tool, and then you're going to rub.
So
Now what's going to happen is it's going to help to increase the blood flow up to the, in this case here, up to the face, which then helps for the proper circulation, helps with aging, obviously the wrinkles on the face, and helps to keep the skin looking soft and supple.
Turns your face a little bit red. Then the next thing, it makes you kind of hot, is this beautiful Jade Roller, which we got from Infinity. And then you just go and roll along the face. I go from the middle to the outside.
It actually feels really good to do that. I like it. It's nice and cool. Yeah, this feels really good, yeah.
We roll Chris's face, but we don't Gua Sha him yet, but maybe we should.
Well, to be continued.
He does use the Clear Sonic, though.
I do. So the simple techniques that Parisa shared, also we talked about some dietary changes. We talked about the 3 organs that are responsible for systemic acne, which is your spleen, lungs, and your liver. And, you know, once again, really take a look at what's going on the inside. You know, our DNA of our body wants to be healthy. When it gets stuck, that's when it shows up as symptoms and signs. It shows up as dysfunctions and diseases. So, from a beautiful day here in Los Angeles, California, I'm Chris Shelton.
I'm Parisa Shelton.
And until next time, we will chi you later.
Thanks, always. You cured me of my acne.
I did.
This man is amazing. He's a superhuman, superhero.